Welcome to the Steve Ames Show with guitarist Sandy Renda, pianist Mike Iannuzzi, and my special guest entertainer Spatz Donovan. And now, on with the show. They all laughed at Christopher Columbus when he said the world was round. They all laughed when Edison recorded sound. They all laughed at Wilbur and his brother when they said that man could fly. They told Marconi wireless was a phony. It's the same old cry. They laughed at me wanting you. Said I was reaching for the moon. But oh, you came through. Now they'll have to change their tune. They all said we'd never get together. They laughed at us and how. But ho, 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 who's got the last laugh now? They all laughed at Rockefeller Center. Now they're fighting to get in. They all laughed at Whitney and his cotton gin. They all laughed at Fulton and his steamboat, Hershey and his chocolate bar. Ford and his Lizzie kept their laughers busy. That's how people are. They laughed at me wanting you. Said it would be hello, goodbye. But oh, you came through. Now they're eating humble pie. They all said we never would be happy. They laughed at us and how. But ho, 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 who's got the last laugh? Ha, ha, ha. Let's let the past laugh. Ho, 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 who's got the last laugh now? Ha, ha, ha. They all laughed, written by George and Ira Gershwin for the RKO film Shall We Dance, starring Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our very special summer show, taped right here in Springfield, New Jersey at the beautiful Park Place Pool. Let's hear it for the Park Place Pool. And with me tonight, the two summertime musicians. At the keyboard, Mike Iannuzzi. At the guitar, Sandy Renda. And tonight we will be celebrating the music of Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers in honor of Ginger Rogers' centennial, because the great actress, singer, and dancer was born exactly 100 years ago on July 16th, 1911 in Independence, Missouri. So we opened up with the song They All Laughed, written by George and Ira Gershwin for Shall We Dance. Here's another song from that same film, Let's Call the Whole Thing Off. You say either, and I say either. You say neither, and I say neither. Either, either, neither, neither. Let's call the whole thing off. You like potato, and I like potato. You like tomato, and I like tomato. Potato, potato, tomato, tomato. Let's call the whole thing off. But oh, if we call the whole thing off, then we must part. And oh, if we ever part, then that might break my heart. So if you like pajama and I like pajama, I'll wear pajama and give up pajama. For we know we need each other, so we better call the calling off. Let's call the whole thing off. Oh, if we call the whole thing off, then we must part. And oh, if we ever part, then that might break my heart. So if you like oysters and I like oysters, I'll order oysters and cancel the oysters. For we know we need each other, so we better call the calling off. Let's call the whole thing off. Sandy Renda, Mike Iannuzzi, welcome back to the Park Place Pool in Springfield. This is the third year in a row we tape here, but we're at a different spot by the pool. You remember last year we were over there in the sun, and now we're trying to be in the shade a little bit, you know? But I think it's very, very nice, and I thank you both for being with us today. And you've had a busy week, my friend Sandy Renda. You played Trumpets Jazz Club the other night, right?
Yeah, Friday night. A real good night. A 7-piece band, and it was really good. It was a lot of fun.
Very good.
Yeah, we come across real well, and I'm very pleased with that, because it was a lot of work putting it all together.
And what's the name of the band you played with?
The Teachers Jazz Ensemble.
Everybody in the band is a teacher.
Yeah, everyone except one guy, but we made him a teacher.
Oh, okay.
We gave him a fake certificate.
That's very good. And Mike, are you enjoying the summer and getting ready for your big vacation coming up soon?
Yes, I am. He doesn't let me play with him on the jazz job, so
Oh,
you
no,
know.
that's
I'm
not
teasing. No, we're having a great summer. Looking forward to getting away for a while, and it's going to be great.
That's
We're
right.
doing good.
That's right. We have one more show next month to tape here at the Park Place Pool. I hope we have very good weather. I want to thank you both for helping me celebrate the music of Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. You know, they made 10 movies together. Their first was Flying Down to Rio in 1933, and their last was The Barclays of Broadway in 1949. And tonight we will be singing songs from 3 of the different Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers movies. But I also wanted to mention that Ginger Rogers, on her own, was an Academy Award-winning actress. She won the Best Actress Oscar for Kitty Foyle in 1940. And besides Fred Astaire, some of her other leading men included Dick Powell, Jimmy Stewart, Ray Milland, and Cary Grant. How's that? And Ginger Rogers made movies from 1930 to 1965, over 70 motion pictures. And when she finished her film career, she went on Broadway and played in Hello, Dolly, and then went in London and played in Maine. So, plus a lot of television shows. So it's nice to celebrate the centennial of Ginger Rogers. And right now, Sandy, what do you and Mike have for us tonight, musically?
Now, this is a beautiful song. In fact, Spatz just reminded me, this is either a theme or one that was done by Jackie Gleason many times and sung by many groups. I think include the Freshmen. They did beautiful harmonies on it. Mike and I are going to do a duet of a beautiful tune entitled Shangri-La.
I love it. Let's hear it for Sandy and Mike and Shangri-La.
Your kisses take me to Shangri-La. Each kiss is magic that makes my little world a Shangri-La. Oh, land of bluebirds, mountains with nothing to do but cling to an angel that looks like you. And when you hold me, how warm you are. Be mine, my darling, and spend your life with me in Shangri-La. For anywhere you are is Shangri-La. Oh, land of bluebirds and mountains with nothing to do but cling to an angel that looks like you.
a big treat because here comes one of our favorite entertainers who's been on the show many, many times before. But tonight, he makes his debut at the Park Place Pool. Please welcome that entertainer extraordinaire, Spatz Donovan!
Hello. My mother thanks you. My father thanks you. And for me, that goes the same. George Michael Cohan. H-Hey. Double R-I. G-A-N spells Harrigan. Proud of all the Irish that's in me. Give a man who'll say a word agin me. H-A. Double R-I. G-A-N, you'll see. It's a name that a shame never can be connected with. Harrigan, that's me. Take it, boys. H-A, double R-I, G-A-N, you'll see. It's a name that a shame never can be connected with. Harrigan, that's me. You're a grand old flag. You're a high-flying flag. Forever let peace may you wave. You're the emblem of, you're the land I love, the home of the free and the brave. Every heart beats true for the red, white, and blue. There's never a boast or a brag. Should old acquaintance be forgot, keep your eye on them. Everybody, come on, clap here. You're a grand old flag. You're a high-flying flag. Forever let peace may you wave. You're the emblem of, you're the land I love, the home of the free and the brave. Every heart beats true for the red, white, and blue, and there's never a boast or brag. Should old acquaintance be forgot, keep your eye on that grand old flag. Top of the world, Ma! That's right. Mm-hmm.
Spatz Donovan!
Oh, thanks. It's great to be here. Great to be anywhere, but no, especially here. This is a nice place to be.
I know. Spatz, we love that tribute that you did to Jimmy Cagney. He was one of your idols, wasn't he?
Oh, sure. You know, when I was a little kid, I used to look in the TV guide and circle Cagney films because, Cagney was Cagney, and every time Yankee Doodle Dandy was on, I would, after the film, I would try and copy the dance. And I would leave footprints on the wall, and my mom would spank me. and that was Cagney, and then years later, she got me. I was working at a place entertaining. I was the headliner at a place called Rosie O'Grady's Good Time Dixieland Jazz Emporium, and it was all razzmatazz and this kind of fun stuff, grand Americana music. And at the end of each show, we did a patriotic medley. And, you're a grand old flag and God bless America, and that sort of thing. And so my mom said, geez, you do a little Cagney there. So I don't know what the heck, but my mom got Cagney's address in Martha's Vineyard and also in Dutchess County, upstate New York. And the next thing you know, we're writing, to Cagney. And my mom and I we used to write letters to Stan Laurel when I was a small child.
Right.
So this is my mom like 25 years later. And so here we are, and the next thing you know, I'm writing 5 or 6 letters. Finally, Cagney wrote back.
Wow.
Wow, it was, right. And I got a letter from him, and I was very excited. And this went on for about 2 years. And then the next thing, I'm doing a show one night, and I'm dripping wet. I'm just getting off the stage. I'm going up to the mezzanine, which is on the way up to my dressing room, and this guy gets out of a chair, and I'm going, humna, because look, oh my God, it's Cagney. James Cagney himself, and he's old, like this is Cagney in his 80s. So I invite him up to go up to my dressing room, and he gets up there, and we enter through the door, and he looks to the left, and he sees this big poster of Rocky Sullivan from Angels with Dirty Faces, and he's on his way to the electric chair, and he stands there, and he's like looking at it, and I'm going, Geez, I said, Mr. Cagney, he says, just relax. He says, and sit down. I'm blow drying my hair, and I'm very nervous. I'm sitting there with the 20th century's icon.
You're in your dressing room backstage,
yes,
right?
Yes, that's right. Oh my God! And so I said, I'm talking about like all our letters that we've, and he says something, and the bottom line, I go, wait a minute, this doesn't sound right.
He didn't sound like Cagney.
No. So I said, are you sure? Do you have a cold, Mr. Cagney? And he goes, I'm not James Cagney.
Who was it?
It was Jack Kelly, an old contract player for Warner Brothers, who was James Cagney's stunt double, who was in about 9 movies with him, and he just moved to Orlando, and he invited. He was a dead ringer. Dead ringer.
Well, that's why he looked like Cagney. Go explain to the folks, because he was a stand-in and stunt double in the film, and of course he was a friend of Cagney's.
So my wife and I go over to his house, and we have some Irish stew, and then he invites me into the dining room, and sure enough, Cagney's on the phone.
He put the real Jimmy Cagney on the phone for you.
Yeah, he goes, "Hello, Spatz." Mm-hmm. What do you hear? What do you know? What do you say, kid? And I'm going humming. But Cagney never liked to talk about his movie career. So and I started this relationship went on for years. All he wanted to talk about was agriculture, and about making the world a better place.
He owned his own farm.
Yes, he was into clean air and clean water and that sort of thing. And so when Jimmy had. The blood disorder.
Diabetes, right?
He was a diabetic, right? And when he was in the hospital near the end, and the doctor told him that we're going to have to amputate your legs. And Cagney said, no, doc, no one's going to amputate my legs. I'm a song and dance man. Send me home to die. And Jack was there, but he couldn't see him because only family. So Cagney went home, and about a week later he passed away, and Jack shows up at the farm the next day after Cagney passes away, and Marge, this caretaker of the estate, Marge opens up the door, and there was Jack, and she grabs her heart and goes, and faints, thinking that that's the real Cagney coming back to life like a ghost. And Cagney's wife, Wilhelmina, was bedridden, and Jack became a farmhand. Like he was beloved on the farm because it was just wonderful. Everybody loved him, and he became a pallbearer at the funeral. And I was invited as well, and but I couldn't get away because I was under contract at the time. But I was on the phone every day with Jack. Geez, what's going on? What's going on? And when Jack left the property, he filled his U-Haul truck. He pulled up a U-Haul truck, filled it with Cagney memorabilia, and he brought it back down to Orlando, and he calls me on the phone. I come running over to his house. What is it? What is it? He says, Spatz, I've got a surprise for you. I go, well, what? He says, we opened it up. He says, this is all Cagney stuff. And Bill, he affectionately named his wife Bill. She gave it to Jack because Jack was.
So you have some of the Cagney memorabilia in your possession. What do you have?
I have the Doughboy hat from the Fighting 69th. I have the captain's hat from Mr. Roberts. I have the script from Man of a Thousand Faces. I have the Warner Brothers makeup face of Cagney's face, the imprint, on a plaque. I have Cagney's hunting gloves, Cagney's hunting license, a Sneaky Pete gun, and some horse ribbons that he wanted.
Unbelievable that you have all of that. And the reason...
One really good one. I have a cane of Cagney's that you unscrew and you pull it out, and it's Cagney's name imprinted on a sword.
Unbelievable. Spatz, the reason we had you do Jimmy Cagney today is because today is July 17th, would have been Jimmy Cagney's birthday. Right. So we're celebrating Jimmy Cagney's birthday, and you've got 2 more numbers for us right now to do as Jimmy Cagney. Folks, you're going to love this. Let's hear it for Spatz Donovan. Thank you, Spatz.
Thank you. Hello. Cagney's the name. Jimmy Cagney. I suppose you folks always knew me in the movies as a bad guy. But in vaudeville, I was a hoofer, not a hooker. A hoofer. I did, she's some of the best. Bilbo Jangles Robinson, Eddie Foy, and the grandfather of them all, George Michael Cohan, that Yankee Doodle boy. That's right. That's right. Give my regards to Broadway. Remember me to Herald Square. Tell all the gang at 42nd Street, Jimmy C will soon be there. Whisper of how I'm yearning to mingle with that old-time throng. Oh, give my regards to old Broadway and say that I'll be there ere long. Broadway and say that I'll be there ere long. I'm a Yankee Doodle dandy, a Yankee Doodle do or die, a real live nephew of my Uncle Sam, born on the 4th of July. I've got a Yankee Doodle sweetheart, she's my Yankee Doodle joy. Yankee Doodle came to London just to ride the ponies. I am that Yankee Doodle, I am that Yankee Doodle, I am that Yankee Doodle boy. Top of the world, Ma. My mother thanks you, my father thanks you, and for me, it goes the same. What do you hear, what do you know, what do you say, kid? Oh, care for grapefruit? Right in the kisser.
All the great composers wrote for the Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers movies. Irving Berlin, George and Ira Gershwin, and of course Jerome Kern. Jerome Kern wrote the score for the RKO film Swing Time, which turned out to be Ginger Rogers' personal favorites of all the films that she made with Fred Astaire. So here's one of the great duet numbers from that film with music by Jerome Kern and lyrics by Dorothy Fields. A fine romance with no kisses, a fine romance, my friend. This is, we should be like a couple of hot tomatoes, but you're as cold as yesterday's mashed potatoes. A fine romance with no clinches, a fine romance with no pinches. I might as well play bridge with my old maid aunts. I haven't got a chance. This is a fine romance. A fine romance for this fellow. You take romance, I'll take Jello. You're calmer than the seals in the Arctic Ocean. At least they flap their fins to express emotion. A fine romance, you won't wrestle. A fine romance, you won't nestle. You're just as hard to land as the Ile de France. I haven't got a chance. This is a fine romance. Irving Berlin had the great distinction of writing the score for 3 of the Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers films: Top Hat, Follow the Fleet, and Carefree. From the score of Top Hat comes this beautiful song, which was Ginger Rogers' personal favorite, Cheek to Cheek. Here we go. Heaven, I'm in heaven, and my heart beats so that I can hardly speak, and I seem to find the happiness I seek when we're out together dancing cheek to cheek. Heaven, I'm in heaven, and the cares that hung around me through the week seem to vanish like a gambler's lucky streak when we're out together dancing cheek to cheek. Oh, I'd love to climb a mountain and to reach the highest peak, but it doesn't thrill me half as much as dancing cheek to cheek. Oh, I'd love to go out fishing in a river or a creek, but I don't enjoy it half as much as dancing cheek to cheek. Dance with me, I want my arm about you. The charm about you will carry me through to heaven. I'm in heaven, and the cares that hung around me through the week seem to vanish like a gambler's lucky streak when we're out together dancing cheek to